Hey everybody, Oakheart here. So as you guys might have noticed, my week of speed paints is now over. And on my last day, we announced that we were doing a fan art and fan fiction writing contest. And these are the results. Enjoy!
This first fanfiction is written by Nani. The small ginger tomcat batted a tiny paw at a bright yellow butterfly. His mother, Rainflower, was inside the nursery exchanging words with another queen known as Echo Mist. Oakheart frowned, growling softly as the butterfly flew out of his reach. He let out a mewl of frustration, fluffing out his small bushy tail. "Come back here!" he mewed out loud, leaping, though he knew the winged creature was quite a ways out of his grasp. He felt a gaze land on him, and turned to see his father, Shellheart. He was gazing at him fondly, though he didn't say anything and went into the medicine cat den. Oakheart turned back to his game, squeaking loudly in anger as he realized the butterfly had strayed out of camp. He was about to follow it when he remembered his last journey out of camp. Fear dragged at his belly like dense stones. He looked over to the medicine cat den before sitting down. It wasn't long before something else caught his attention. Oakheart saw a beetle crawling on the ground and began to mew loudly at it, catching the attention of Brambleberry, who was coming back with colt's foot in her jaws. The speckled medicine cat purred with amusement before padding back into her den. Oakheart began to chase the beetle around, stalking it and cutting it off when it tried to go in any certain direction. Suddenly, Oakheart heard a deep meow from the entrance. "That sounds like Pike-Tooth," he thought to himself, swiftly waddling over on his small legs. As Pike-Tooth and his small patrol entered the camp, Oakheart sniffed with surprise as he was hit with an odd scent among the cats. He saw a lean black and white Tom. His tail seemed to go on forever. He also noticed a brown cat with hardly a tail at all. Why doesn't the brown cat have a big tail? Can't the black and white one share his? He questioned himself. Oakheart squeaked as the black and white cat glanced at him, his gaze serious and cold. He ran back to the nursery and stuck his head in. His pelt puffed out. "Rainflower, come see! There are Wind Clan cats outside!" His mother pricked her ears and swiftly came out. She snarled at the newcomers, stepping in front of Oakheart. She turned to Pike-Tooth, her gaze dark and guarded. "What does Wind Clan want with us?" A real-life warrior cat battle happening in the background here. Kitties, calm down. She hissed, her hackles raised, and lashed out an unsheathed paw at the black and white Tom. Meanwhile, Oakheart stared at the newcomers in awe. Pike-Tooth shook his head.
They said they need to talk to Brambleberry about a sick kitten. They say he needs herbs.
Rainflower growled. Wind Clan can't manage its own? And at that, she turned and began to herd Oakheart back into the nursery. Great job on that fanfiction, Nani. It was really good. And our next fanfiction is by Autumn Shade.
Oakheart watched for his mate through the snowy forest as he began to worry. What if she never comes? What if she gets found and caught and punished?
These thoughts spiraled around his head and made Oakheart feel sick. He would never forgive himself if something happened to Bluefur and the kits. His anticipation to see his kits made him hope that they made it through the snowstorm alive. A little while later, a blue-gray shape filed out of the trees, holding a misty gray kit, while a darker tabby and white one followed them.
I thought there were 3 kits.
Oakheart expressed as Bluestar approached him. Bluefur stumbled slightly in the snow, and Oakheart dashed to her side to help her up. The 2 kits sat between their mother's paws, trying to keep warm.
Oakheart felt his heart break as he watched them shiver from the cold. Such young kits shouldn't be out of their nest at this time of night.
"I'm sorry, Oakheart," Bluefur whispered, her head bowed, tears dripping from her frozen cheeks.
Oakheart tilted his head. "Why? You brought the kits like you promised. You weren't caught, were you?"
Bluefur shook her head. Taking a deep breath, she mewed. We lost Moss Kit."
The brown tabby was stunned. "What do you mean? What happened to her?"
StarClan decided they wanted her just as much as we did. She just couldn't make it through the snow. She's safely buried. Nothing will touch her," Bluefur replied, her voice cracking from both the cold and her grief.
"Oh." Oakheart bowed his head and looked at his 2 kits, huddled up with their mother. "At least we still have these 2, he murmured.
Bluefur smiled weakly and wrapped her thick tail around them both. "This is Misty Kit and Stone Kit," she meowed, brushing her chin across their heads as she told their names. Misty Kit crouched down, trying her hardest to stop herself from shivering. Stone Kit, however, pushed himself onto his paws and marched up to his father, looking him up and down suspiciously. Who are you? He asked boldly.
Oakheart laughed and patted his head with a paw. I'm Oakheart. I'm your father, he purred.
No, you're not, Misty Kit squeaked, coming up to stand beside her brother. Fresh Pelt is our father.
Oakheart licked the top of her head gently. Next you'll be saying fish can fly, he replied to his daughter.
Misty Kit stamped her paws indignantly into the snow. How do you know they can't?
Because I'm a River Clan cat. I know everything about fish, considering it is what we eat to survive, he told the two kits, who were now listening intently, obviously forgetting about the cold. Bluefur purred and looked at Oakheart, who was smiling back at her. It was at that moment Oakheart saw something change in his mate's eyes. He certainly did not expect what she said next. I'm coming with you, Oakheart, she told him bluntly. Oakheart shook his head. What? But I thought your heart was where your loyalties lie. Bluefur looked him dead in the eye. And Oakheart knew then that her decision was final. There was nothing he could do to stop her. All right then. Come with me. He picked up Stone Kit by his scruff and began to pad down the stepping stones, with Bluefur following with Misty Kit swinging gently from her jaws. Oakheart reached the river and looked back at his mate. Are you sure you really want this? He asked her. Nothing would make me happier, Oakheart. And with that, she bounded across the stepping stones as though she had already acquired the power and strength of a River Clan cat. Ah, yay! Blue Star didn't give up everything! She went and became a River Clan cat with Oakheart. I'm sure Crooked Star will accept her into the clan. This next one is written by Rebirth. It's more from Bluefur's perspective, but it's really well written, so let's read it. Bluefur waited anxiously in the moonlight, a cold breeze brushing through the trees and ruffling her fur. She watched as the bushes lining the clearing rustled in the wind, and she nervously smelled the air, tasting for the scent of any cat. She finally picked up the scent of fish and willow trees and sighed in relief. Oakheart pushed his way into 4 trees, his dark brown coat glistening in the moonlight. Bluefur ran up to him and pushed her nose into his fur. I missed you, she breathed, gulping in the comforting scent of him and River Clan. Where were you last night? I had guard duty. I'm sorry I couldn't be here, my love, he whispered, his throaty purr a comforting sound to Bluefur. Oakheart? She stammered, stepping away from him and shuffling her paws. Yes? Oakheart asked, confused, missing her warmth. I'm expecting kits, she said, looking down, afraid of what he would say. Oakheart let out a small morale of joy and ran back to Bluefur, licking her face. Oh, that's wonderful news! Bluefur laughed and pushed Oakheart away. All right. So, I'm the future mother of your kits. A sparkle of mischief twinkled in her eyes. Oakheart puffed out his chest and bowed deeply. Well, what would my queen like to do today? He said in a dramatic voice. Let me see. Carry me up that tree, Bluefur said, adopting the same pompous air. Oakheart stifled a laugh as he gently laid Bluefur on his back. The stars are beautiful tonight, she said, her paw lazily tracing the sky. You are more beautiful than any star. In this next scene, Bluefur is in a dream. Bluefur panted, running through the dark, tangled trees. They were closing in, pointing at her. All around were the crying faces of cats. Save us! They cried out, branches reaching out to entangle her. She could hear her kits, their pathetic mews echoing in her ears. I can't save you all, she cried out, before waking up in a cold sweat. A determined look came over her face, and tears threatened to slip down as she looked at her kits nestled next to her. Wake up! It's time to go. Now skip forward a bit, she's meeting Oakheart now. Oakheart, I'm so glad you're here! Bluefur nuzzled her mate before quickly gathering up her 2 kits. What's this all about? He asked, still groggy from being woken up and having to pad across the river. Oh, the kits! They're beautiful! Yes, all 3 of them were. A fat tear rolled down her cheek. 3? Moss Kit, she wasn't able to handle the cold. Quickly, Bluefur gathered her kits closer to her, her body shaking with sobs. Oakheart pushed his nose to her side. Come, let's get them somewhere warm. Why did you bring them out here? I can't handle this.
I can't be leader and mother. So, I'm choosing you. I'm choosing our kits.
Bluefer, I can't imagine how hard this is for you, but I'm so happy you've decided to come with me. Now we can raise our kids together.
This final part of their fanfiction is Bluefer looking back on her life. It was the most pivotal choice I made. Thistlestar made a complete turnaround. Snowfur really had changed him. And though he could be harsh at times, he always tried to make the best decision for his clan. I lost Oakheart in an accident. Tigerclaw was exposed for his crime, but I really never got over the loss of him. He died while I was expecting our second litter of kits. I'm sad that Mossheart and Sleekpine didn't get to meet their father. I wonder what would have happened though. What if I had chose to give up my kits and be leader of ThunderClan? The decision will haunt me forever, but I'm happy with my choice. I hear all these thoughts flash through my head, like I'm writing my own biography underneath this suffocating ice. I hear Goosefeather's words echo through my ears.
Water will destroy you!
He was right, I suppose. I close my eyes and let the darkness envelop me, only to open them and see a grinning Oakheart and a small bouncing kit at his paws. Ah, yay! Oakheart and Mosskit and Bluefer are reunited in StarClan. Thank you! Next, now it's time for Neon Stars fanfiction. So, here we go.
Oakheart padded across the border to ThunderClan. He knew what must be done. Stonepaw and Mistypaw stood behind him. A blue figure and a golden figure stood on the sunning rocks and were talking. Bluefer had her head down and Sunstar spoke to her. Bluefer, you could have told me!
Sunstar gasped.
I would have understood and helped you.
He tried to reason with the she-cat.
Oakheart stepped closer towards the border. She did what she had to.
He spoke loudly. Sunstar snapped his head towards the dark brown Tom and the apprentices.
What are you doing here? He hissed.
Bluefer looked at her kits and her eyes brightened.
I have come to make this right.
Oakheart replied and looked down.
I have come to join ThunderClan. I brought Bluefer's kits with me.
Bluefer meowed in shock. But you wanted to be leader of RiverClan.
He looked at her. I would give it up to be with you.
He purred and turned his gaze to Sunstar.
With your permission, Sunstar. Sunstar looked at Bluefer and the dark brown Tom. Very well. You are a strong, wise warrior, Oakheart. You and your kits are welcome in ThunderClan.
Ah, Oakheart gave everything up to be with Bluefer. That is so sweet. Let me know in the comments down below which of these fanfictions has been your favorite, and if you like it better when Bluefer joins RiverClan or when Oakheart joined ThunderClan. Or do you think the original choice was the best choice? I don't know. The original choice hurts my heart. I love these fanfictions. Alright, so now after you guys let me know down below, time for our final fanfiction from Violet.
For the last time, Redtail, Sunning Rocks belong to RiverClan,
spat the RiverClan deputy as blood dripped down the side of his face.
Not for long, Oakheart. After today, this area will be for ThunderClan elders and queens to warm their fur, while RiverClan will just get the honor to watch across the river,
sneered Redtail.
Oakheart curled his lip and leapt at the Calico Tom, his claws extended in front of him. He latched onto Redtail, but the ThunderClan deputy quickly flung him off, blood spraying through the air. Redtail took a step towards Oakheart, but Stonefur suddenly appeared and began to lash out at him. Oakheart gave a sigh of relief, pride prickling his pelt as he saw his son fighting with bravery. The memory of Bluefer when she stepped up to him with his two small kits returned to his mind, but he shook it away. What Bluefer and I had has been over for moons. My duty is to raising our kits to be the best warriors they can be. His eyes were locked onto the warrior clawing at the deputy, and I've succeeded with that. He gave his head a shake and launched himself back into battle, snarling and ready to sink his claws into Redtail. In a heartbeat, Tigerclaw rammed into Oakheart and threw him to the side. He scrambled to his paws and panted, glaring at the large Tom. Stonefur turned to Tigerclaw while Oakheart rushed back to Redtail and crashed into battle. He tried to glance over to his son as he gave a swift strike towards Redtail. Tigerclaw is a large and powerful warrior. What if Stonefur gets hurt? Anxiety entered him, but it left as soon as he saw his daughter rushing over to fight beside her brother.
Leave my brother alone, you mange pelt! Mistyfoot snapped as the two began to drive him back.
Oakheart turned his attention back to Redtail and gave a screech as Redtail leapt to his side and grabbed his scruff. Redtail flung Oakheart away with a grunt. Oakheart felt air whizzing through his pelt, and suddenly, it all halted as he slammed against a large rock, one of his front paws getting crushed by his own weight. He flopped down and shakily rose to his paw, his injured front paw lifted in the air. Suddenly, a screech broke through the battle, and Oakheart recognized it in a heartbeat. Stonefur! Stonefur and Mistyfoot were racing towards him desperately. "Dad, run!" screamed Stonefur. Suddenly, reality snapped back and Oakheart tried to scramble away from the now collapsing rocks. He broke into a weak run and tried to leap to freedom, but suddenly a large boulder slammed into his back, ramming him into the ground. Pain seared through Oakheart, and then, suddenly, everything was dark. "No, Oakheart!" Distant cries rang out and Oakheart opened his eyes. His ears gave a flick and his nose twitched. Everything was dark, and in front of him was a small gray and white kit. "Moss Kit?" he choked out, remembering her from his dreams.
"It's been a while, Dad, hasn't it?" Her sweet voice ended in a squeak.
Pain clawed at Oakheart as he remembered how young she had been when she died. She didn't get to live with him or her siblings in RiverClan. She didn't even get to smell the fresh air of New Leaf. I'm sorry for...
He began to let out a small mew, but Moss Kit moved towards him and placed her muzzle on his nose. "I know," she murmured simply. She took a few steps back and blinked expectantly at Oakheart.
The reddish-brown Tom steadily rose to his paws and suddenly his head poked out of something. He realized he was inside the rock. His eyes lowered and his heart skipped a beat as he recognized his own body. He yelped.
Moss Kit closed her eyes and let out a sigh. "This battle shouldn't have ended this way. I'm sorry." Her voice grew quiet, and the two stepped out of the rock.
ThunderClan was leaving. Redtail stopped and was staring at the pile of rocks. Regret and sorrow was deep in his gaze, and he let out a sigh, his head drooping. Tiger Claw went up to his side and gave him a shove. Redtail jerked his head up and gave a nod, flicking his bright-colored tail and leading the ThunderClan patrol away. Oakheart turned his gaze over and his heart cracked with grief as he saw Mistyfoot and Stonefur crouched beside the rock pile, tears streaming down their faces as they let out cries. Oakheart stepped up to them, his paw steps light. He stared silently at them, longing to press his muzzle into their fur, pull them into his embrace, and tell them everything was all right.
Moss Kit put a paw on Stonefur's paw and lowered her head, her tiny eyes closing and her ears flattening. "I know how you feel, to be beside them one moment, and the next being led away from them by a StarClan cat," she murmured quietly.
Oakheart flicked his head up and stared sadly at his small daughter. He wanted to say something, but words didn't seem to want to slip out of his mouth.
Moss Kit raised her head, her ears pricking up once more and her eyes sparkling. "Come on, let's head to StarClan. There's some cats that miss you, and they're ready to see you after moons of losing you."
He gave a nod and followed Moss Kit away from the battlegrounds, and felt his body begin to rise up as he began to embark on his journey to StarClan, Moss Kit beside him.
"Oh, this is so cute, it's gonna make me cry."
Many moons later, Oakheart moved through RiverClan territory, his paws treading lightly as his eyes glanced at the territory around him. A longing pricked at his pelt. He desired once again to race through the territory with Stonefur and Mistyfoot at his side. Not a worry had entered his mind at those times. He closed his eyes. He couldn't stay here long. Blue Star and Moss Kit were back in StarClan waiting for him. Plus, he had a task that could not be ignored. Rain filled the sky around him, and he smelt the reek of rotting prey. But the smell of blood was thicker. He slipped past the reeds, his eyes widened. Blood and fur was scattered around a muddy clearing. A large pile of bones sat at the edge. In the middle lay a heap of fur and blood. There's Stonefur. I heard it was bad what Tiger Star and Leopard Star did, but I never imagined it would end up like this. This is not the RiverClan I once knew. Oakheart slowly stepped up to his son's body and saw a ghostly figure stand up out of it. What happened? Our Featherpaw and Stormpaw? His mew cut off as his eyes landed on Oakheart. Dad? Choked out Stonefur. The former RiverClan deputy launched himself forward, and Oakheart quickly pulled him into an embrace, wrapping his tail around his flank and slipping his head across his shoulder. You don't know how much I've missed you.
cried out Stonefur. Oakheart smiled and felt a tear slip down his cheek.
You're safe now. You don't need to worry about Tiger Clan. You don't need to worry about doing anything. I won't let you be harmed any longer, he rasped.
The two pulled apart and Stonefur raised his head.
His eyes filled with sorrow as he saw Mistyfoot streak across the clearing and skid to a halt beside his body.
Oh, Stonefur! She cried as she crouched down and placed her muzzle on his lifeless head.
Oakheart closed his eyes. You two were so close. I'm sorry you guys had to separate this way. You didn't deserve to die like that, he murmured. Stonefur placed his ghostly muzzle on top of Mistyfoot's head. One day, sis, we'll meet again, and we'll run freely together. But today shall not be that day. I love you,
he breathed out before turning to face Oakheart as he began to rise up into the air.
Bluestar and Mosskit are waiting for you. They're both excited for you to join us, Oakheart purred. Stonefur's eyes lit up. Wait, really? They're in StarClan? Oakheart let out a laugh. Well, where else would they go?
Ah, that was so perfect! Great job, Violet. That was honestly one of my favorites of today. That was very well written. Oh my goodness, you guys are so talented. It has been so hard to pick these fanfics, and I hope you guys enjoyed the ones that I did pick. If you didn't get chosen to get read in the video, I still read every single person's fanfiction, and they were all amazing. And so just know that I see you and I appreciate you. And for everyone's art that was included in the video, great job. And if your art wasn't included, still love you, still saw you, and keep up the great work. And hopefully, with the next character, Stonefur, we'll have some more fun fanfictions for him. So join the Amino and look out for his contest coming soon, once we finish his week. Alrighty guys, well, I love you guys all so much. Bye-bye! Thanks for taking part!